I would have remembered it.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Got a lot of information for you, a lot of things that we're going to talk through and look at, and several different pieces that I want you guys to be able to take away with. So, my name is John. I'll be your speaker or presenter or whatever you want to call me today. This is Google Drive add-ons. So we'll be going through looking at some things that you can add on to your Google Drive environment, to your Google documents, to enhance them, make them work for you, to help. I guess we were a little bit early. So, you know, nothing like being early for class, right? So my email address is up on the board. If you have any questions after today, feel free to drop me an email. I'll be available. The goo.gl will have today's presentation as well as the other presentations from today. I've also already uploaded the recordings from this morning to the web, so you'll have access to those as well. I'm also recording the afternoon session, so if you want to go back and watch it later or anything like that. I've got a few things that I want to show you through presentation, and then we're going to dive in and take a look at some real-life examples of some things, how you can make it work in your environment. So Google Drive, how many of you are already using your Google Drive? Okay. Uploading files or editing files, creating files inside of your environment. That's great. Now, with Google Drive, you have the access to being able to create documents, presentations, spreadsheets, a lot of different types of things. Well, to give you more functionality, you have the Google Drive add-ons. How many of you are familiar with scripts? Anybody familiar with Google Scripts? Okay. Google Scripts was the initial add-ons. It was a way that you could do, excuse me, some additional things to your Google documents. Say you wanted to send out emails. You could write your own scripts and send out an email from your spreadsheet or from a document, doing different types of things. Add-ons is the 2.0 version of that. So using the new Google Scripts, the new Google Drive, you can add on these add-ons to be able to enhance your environment inside of your Google Drive. So just a few things, few of them that are in there: a thesaurus, translators, bibliography tools. There's a lot of great things that are in there that we're going to look at that can help you in your classroom or to help the students that as they're using different types of things. So just a couple of little ones. You've got charts. It's an add-on for the Google Doc to be able to create charts inside of there from spreadsheets or different types of things. Bibliography. EasyBib will automatically create your bibliography for the students or for you to be able to track those different types of things. Open Clipart. Everybody loves Clipart, right? Especially our elementary schools. They like Clipart. They like to be able to use it. That was one of the features that Google was lacking, was Clipart. Well, now there's a add-on called Open Clipart that will allow you to go in. You can click on it, search for Clipart that you're looking for, and be able to find and use it. And we'll take a look at that here in just a few minutes. Table of contents. Generate a table of contents inside of your Google document. How many of you are going for your master's or your doctorate? Anybody planning to go that far? Come on now. So you got to create a table of contents for that 500-page document that you're creating. Or maybe it's a book for your class or whatever the case may be. You can use one of the add-ons to be able to create that table of contents. So another one. How many of you use Google Forms? I use Forms all the time. Well, if you have a document that you already have all the questions in, you typed up a Google document that has all of your questions in it, you can use gFormat to automatically create your Google form off of those questions. Maybe you're faster at typing than clicking and adding the different options. You can type it in a Google document, add gFormat to it, and then it will automatically create your quiz or your questions, and then all you got to do is click on the spreadsheet to view the answers after people fill it in. So gFormat will automatically create the form for you. Tracking changes. This one's actually been sort of rewritten and built into it a little more. Twitter curator, whatever you want to call it. If you host Twitter chats, you can bring them into your Google Drive. Bring them into your document, being able to bring them in there to be able to read through it and see them. One that we're going to actually go through and do, Autocrat. I like Autocrat because it gives me a way of doing a mail merge. Merging information into a document source. Maybe Mad Libs. Look at it as Mad Libs. You go through, you ask questions. What's your name? What's your favorite animal? What's this? What's that? Whatever the case. And it will actually write it all back into a story and populate all the different pieces of the fields and then give you a complete story. Or a Mad Lib filling out a form or something like that. We're going to take a look at it. We're going to actually build one and show you how quick you can actually turn around and do one of these things. Doctopus. Doctopus will go in, does a lot of different types of things for you. Gives you the ability to do a mass copy of information to your students. You have a spreadsheet that has a lot of different types of things in it. Well, you have all of your students' information in there. You can easily click a few buttons and it disperses all of the information out to your students. A Google site, for instance. You could use that to share a Google site out to all of your students. Now, Doctopus and a few other things have actually been rolled also into Google Classroom. So if you're using Google Classroom, you're actually using some of these things on the back end. Flubaroo is the other piece that's built into Google Classroom now. Any math teachers? We got GMath. Is an add-on that you can add into your Google Sheets to be able to do the math functions and being able to do those different types of things. I'm going to actually skip over these. The template gallery just basically gives you a click link into the template gallery, which I can show you a different way to get into that. So I told you, short, sweet, to the point on the presentation. So I've sort of already got brought up several different types of things here, but I'm going to go into my Davy 2015 and I'm going to click on my Google Docs. To get access to your add-ons, you'll be inside of your Google Drive. You'll click on add-ons up here at the top. Whoop, come on. You'll see I've got several that I've already got added into my environment. After you start using them, that list will start getting larger and larger and larger. Make this a little bit bigger for you guys to see. So we're going to go get add-ons and show you just a few of the add-ons that are available to you. You've got EasyBib to being able to create your bibliography in MLA, APA format, whatever the case may be. It automatically does it for you. Translate. This could be good and it could be bad. Now I'm going to be honest with you. Any Spanish teachers in here or French? It's not exact. So, you know, our Spanish teachers, French teachers, they can pinpoint out the things that it does not do quite so well. But it does do a basic rough draft if you're needing it to translate information. A thesaurus, always helpful for the students to find their synonyms and antonyms. Open Clipart, over 50,000 images, so they say. I've never counted them. Avery. Now, if you're using Microsoft Word, you're used to being able to build Avery templates. You go to Office Max, you buy the Avery labels. Well, then you come back in and you want to make this little template and mail merge everything or whatever. You used to do it inside of Microsoft Word with Excel or whatever. You can do that inside of Google Sheets and Google Documents as well. You have the Avery add-on here. I've actually used it. I don't know why it's only got 2.5 stars. It's worked for me with no problems. Speech recognition. If you have a microphone on your computer, you can dictate to it and it will automatically take your words and start typing it out for you. Great little tool if you're wanting to use that type of thing. I type faster than I talk sometimes, or more correctly than I talk. I wish our gentleman was here still, the notes piece. Doc to form, the piece that I was telling you about with doc to form. You type in all of your questions. You then add the add-on, and it will automatically create your Google form for you. There's one more down here I wanted to show you. As you see, there's a lot of them that are out here and available for you to take advantage of. You also have up here at the top where you can go down and look for just the educational ones. See if I can find the one that I'm looking for. So I'm inside of a regular document, and then you can go to add-ons and get add-ons. Now, you're going to see different add-ons for the document and for the spreadsheets. You're going to see different ones. Now, if I go over to my spreadsheet, go away, Autocrat, you'll see that I've got a different set of them inside of my add-ons here. A lot of your mail merges live inside of the spreadsheet side. You've got Flubaroo, you've got Workflow, you've got Doctopus, where we said we could dish out information to the students. GMath. So you ever go through your document looking for duplicates? You want to see if you got any duplicates of things. This will go through, find your duplicates for you inside of a Google spreadsheet. Autocrat we're getting ready to use. I'm going to show you that one. Split names. Now you can do this with a formula, but it won't go automatically down your document for you to go through. Say you got a cell that's first and last name. You need to split it up into just the first name in one cell and the last name in another cell. You could go through and use split names, and as new form responses come in, it will actually go down the page and split them apart for you, putting them in different cells. Network administrators can take advantage of the Chromebook inventory. I've got school districts that have thousands of Chromebooks inside of their school district. They can actually use this one add-on, and it goes into their Google console, gives them a report of every Chromebook, when was the last time it was turned on, who was the last one that logged into it, where it's at in the organization, and everything along those lines. Great little tool for them to use. Sites Catalog. I'm going to show you guys this one here in just a second. But it will go through and tell you all the websites that you have that you've created or that you have access to be able to edit. Form Mule. You've got a spreadsheet. You want to send out emails based upon the data that's in your spreadsheet. You can use Form Mule to create up to 15 different unique emails to go out once you get a form response, or just a generic spreadsheet. I've got forms that I've built with school districts that are massive. I've got a leave request system with one school district that if you request vacation or non-professional leave, it sends one email. If you request professional leave, it sends an email to your boss asking if you can have leave off and everything along those lines. It's a quite intense system, but it's using some scripts on the back end along with Form Mule to send those emails out. You've got Lab Scheduler if you want to take advantage of it for scheduling labs, or if you just want to use a generic calendar. Site Maestro. Great for teachers. You create a generic site for your students. You want all of your students to keep up a portfolio. You can use this to grab all of your students' usernames, automatically create a site and share it with them, a Google site with them, all from a spreadsheet. You don't have to go and uniquely create it for each one of them. You can use this, it will create it, share it with the students, and then turn right around and you have access to it as well to be able to see their documents or their website. A random generator. How often do you run into, all right, everybody pick a number between 1 and 50 or 1 and 10 or whatever. Whoever's right will throw the random generator, and whoever's right, you win today's lucky prize or whatever the case may be. Or you're trying to randomly give out numbers, different types of things along those lines. Great little tool for that. I've used this with some schools for lotteries. Charter schools, they have a whole lottery process, and we've used this to go in and do that lottery for them sometimes. This is one I'm currently looking at. AppSheet allows you to go in and build your own custom apps for smartphones or for Android tablets or things like that. You can build your own app directly inside of a spreadsheet. It's one I'm tinkering with right now. Calendar importer. Now, I'm doing this with scripts right now, but it's because this wasn't here when I was using it. I import in my calendar to a spreadsheet so that I can add up different types of things, do different math pieces on the back end. For me, I keep track of how many times I work with a school district, when I'm there, everything like that. So for me, I can keep up with that by put it on my calendar, and then I import all that in, slurp it all into a Google spreadsheet that counts it all up for me. There's also an add-on to be able to push that data up as well. Told you guys there's a ton of them out here.
So is there a way that you could punch in like a keyword? You
can search up here. So I just know Autocrat because where we're going to use that one. I could start typing in auto and it brings that up. Or if I wanted to type in mail, I wanted to find one that does mail. Just start typing it in, hit enter, and it brings you back all the ones that do email. And again, you have over on the left, you have the ones to be able to say, well, I'm looking for any that deal with education. You'll see several that are new visions for public schools. It's a nonprofit out of New York. That there's a gentleman, his name is Andrew Stillman, that has created several different add-ons for the school system that he works for. They're a nonprofit school or something like that up there. He's created a lot of different types of things that are available for teachers to use and revolve around education. So G-Class folders. So I'm encouraging my students to use Google Drive. I want them to use Google Drive, but I want them to create files inside of a folder that they share with me. Well, that's fine. That's great. How often do they do it correctly? Probably not so often. Well, what G-Class folders allows you to do is actually give it a roster of all of your students. It will actually create the folders, share the folders with the students, put the folder inside of their drive so that all they have to do is drop files on their folder and they're automatically shared with you as the instructor. This can be used as a classroom, a school. You can actually do it for an entire school district. So you can list the students, the teachers that need access to it, and then it will automatically generate it all the way across the board. All right, so one of them that I talked to you about was the websites. Well, I've created a lot of websites, or people have shared sites with me. My students have all created websites, and they've shared them with me, but I can't keep up with every link that students give me. So what I do, and I've got another one that I've done this with whole school districts. We can go in, we can add on the site's catalog. Now, if we would go in, do a search for sites, and I see there's sites catalog by Awesome Table. So there I've already added it into mine so that I could go to add-ons, sites category, to list all of my sites. It goes out. It asks me, what would you like to do? Well, I want you to go find all of the websites that I have access to. I should have wiped it out first. Let me wipe out this table, then get it again. All right, so I'm going to tell it to create my catalog. No. Why is it I broke it? Don't y'all love it when things go wrong? Live demos always do. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Add-ons, sites, category, list all of my sites. List my sites. Now I can see all of the sites that I have access to. Now the great thing about that is I can also click on these links. Well, I need to see what that site was. I don't remember it. I can click on it, bring it up, and since I'm logged in, it automatically gives me access to my site. Well, I can see, my recent site activity, things along those lines. I really, maybe I don't necessarily need this, or why do I even have access to it? I can go in and see manage site. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not the owner of this site because I can see I don't have. Carla and Tim and Steve are actually the owners of this and everything. They've just shared it with me to be able to collaborate with them on it. Now, if I would have paid attention, I would have seen that it said unknown is the owner of it. The reason it says unknown is because it's somebody that worked with us that no longer is employed with us is actually the owner of it. But those other people still have access to being able to view it as well as I do. Now here, this one, I've got my trainings. I can click on it, and it opens up my Google site that actually has all of my trainings, including today's sites out there as well. Now, a site administrator for an entire school district can go and do that, run that list, and they can get a listing of every teacher in the entire school district. So you guys, I think, have about 600, 650 teachers. So it would bring back every teacher's website to being able to have a listing of how many sites there are in the entire school district. Neat little tool to be able to pull that information in. Alright, so something I've set up here, I've set up a Google form. I've just asked in my Google form your name and your email address because I just wanted to collect those two little pieces of information. Well, I see on the back end I've got my spreadsheet. That's great. And I've already pre-set up a document that I want to merge this information with. Now, I've pre-set it up because I know how Autocrat works and how I need to pull information in. But I've gone in, I've put name, colon, and I've put those two brackets, and I've put information inside of it. That tells it I want it to pull that information and to populate this document for me. Now, and I've just said thank you for attending today's session. This is your PDF. Well, if I could, I'm going to go to Add Ons, Autocrat, and I'm going to tell it to launch. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to tell it I need to create a new merge job. This part I didn't pre-set up because I wanted to walk through it with you guys. Well, what do you want it to do? Well, I've already pre-set it up with my merge tabs. So I'm going to tell it I want to get it from my Google Drive. And I know it's in Davy 2015. And it's called Autocrat Template. If you did not have one created, you could tell it to create it with you. I gave it a name for my set, and it says, hey, you know, what would you like to map these things to? Well, I want to map the name to name, and I want to map email to your email address. I could say save. Now, it asks me, that's great. Now you have some other options. When they create this stuff, would you like to add it to your Google Drive as a document? I think I would. Because I'd like to actually turn around and email and share this with you guys. I could do it as a Google Doc or as a PDF. I want to share this back with you as a Google document instead of a PDF. PDF, you can't go back and edit. Google document, you can. Times that these can be used is maybe a discipline database. You could do it as Mad Libs for your students, elementary, Mad Libs. Even middle and high school students can use this type of stuff. You can use it with them to do surveys where you're filling in this documents that you've got to turn around and print out to give to somebody for the surveys. Well, I've got my naming convention. I'm going to put $name because I want to put your name, and then I want to put the timestamp. Okay? Now, I want to create a Google document. I also want to email. Well, I want to email to your email address access to it. Now, I can choose how I want to give you guys access. I can give you view only, edit, comment only, make it publicly viewable on the internet. Now, I'm not a big one for that one, okay? Because I don't want to take your information and publicly share it out there on the web. Or I can do it as a PDF. I'm going to give you guys view access to your document. Gotta zoom out a little bit. Okay? Now, you see I've got some other advanced options that I can do. The one that I'm going to pay attention to is I want to add all of this data to a folder. If I don't do this, it's going to dump it all in the root area of my Google Drive, which I don't really want. So I'm going to just tell it to dump it all on my Davy 2015. Davy 2015, select. There we go. Secondary folder key, if you wanted to have a secondary folder to where it would create it for that folder. When do you want it to run? Well, mine I want it to run when new forms are submitted. You can make it on a set time interval. Hey, wait a minute. You mean to tell me I could take this and have all of my students take a test, and it turns around and puts all their answers in a Google document, or maybe a study guide? They go in, they put all their answers in, and then at 5 o'clock on Friday, I'm going to turn around and send them the actual study guide with the corrected answers underneath all of it, or just a study guide with the correct answers and their answer, and they can match them up together to see if they would have passed or not. So I could do that. I could set it at a time interval and send it to them as well. I'm just going to say save. I'm going to let it run automatically right now. And I'm going to say save. I said save. Come on now. There we go. Gotta love technology. All right. So I'm done with that. Okay? Everything's done. What it's going to do is when I give you guys the link to fill out, it's going to turn around and merge my document, give me a document ID, a URL, a link to the document, and it's going to give me a status on the email. That's great. Now I need to give you guys a link to go to. All right. Ooh, I don't like that one. Oh, come on. All right. We'll play with this one then. It is. It is an extension that I've got. It's just a Google extension, go.gl extension, to where any link that you have, you just click on it and it gives you the shortened URL. And then you can actually turn around and give them a QR code up on your screen that they can scan with a whatever. So if you have a device and you want to participate in today's science experiment, if you would visit go.gl/L, lowercase p, lowercase l, capital C, lowercase l, and an E. I promise you none of your data will be shared with anyone. And I'll actually go into the video and probably blur this part or take it out.
It says you need permission.
Ah, thank you. Please hold while I access your account. Let's undo that little checkbox there, and we'll talk about that later in the Google Forms class. If you'll refresh your page, you should have access to it now. And that link there again is go.gl/L, lowercase p, lowercase l, capital C, lowercase l, E. And if I refresh, I'll see that I've got 7 clicks that have already happened. How many of you are familiar with go.gl? My favorite URL shortener. Now, the reason that it's my favorite is because of this right here. I can go see how many people have used my link, what type of device they were on, everything like that. I've got some that I go back and look at that, you know, have thousands of people that have clicked on it. The part that's interesting to me, it doesn't give me any data about who it was, but I can see how many of you were using Chrome, how many were using Safari, how many of you are on Windows, Mac, iPhone, whatever the case may be. Glad to see we don't have any internet exploders. All right. So we refresh, and we're still good to go. We got 15 in there. I go back over to my spreadsheet. I see things coming in. And automatically, as soon as you hit submit, it's turning around. It's merging the document together. And then it's emailing you a copy to be able to access. Emailing you a link to access the document. Well, me as the owner, I see this on the spreadsheet. I can click on one of these to open it up. Or, if I go back over to my Davy 2015, let me refresh. And we'll see who we're going to pick on. Come on. There we go. So we'll pick on Eddie. So I'm just going to open up Eddie's here. And I see that I open it up. It's got his data merged in. I ended up not doing it as a PDF. But you could have this be a PDF. You could have it merged with a lot of different types of things. I've got another conference that I work with that their whole registration system is done like this. You fill out a Google form. When you hit submit, it runs the Autocrat in the background, and they have to actually pay to attend this conference. So they hit submit. It emails them a PDF of their registration for them to turn into their accounting department and everything along those lines. And then I can also turn around and send receipts, whatever the case may be that you want to do with this manner. Okay? Thoughts? And I see Eddie's actually logged in now. So I can see he came into his document and viewing it. Questions? Anybody see how you could possibly use it? Receipts. If you're needing to email receipts to folks, you need to send information to parents. You could have a spreadsheet with all of your parents' email addresses. Send them a default form letter that you're sending the information to all the parents, making it look like you spent a lot of time on it when you spent really 5 minutes and you blasted out all your parents a PDF of whatever the case is that it may be. Or maybe information to your students. Blasting it out to the students all at one shot. I'm all about making people think I do a lot of work when I actually don't. So, or let me rephrase. I like making it seem like I'm really busy. You can easily do this. You can use some other things to blast out emails to folks doing a lot of different types of things along these lines. Questions on some add-ons?
All of them are iOS friendly?
As far as iPads and things like that, I think most of the add-ons you have to do when you're actually on a computer, or if you are on an iPad, I think you have to use Chrome on the iPad or something along those lines, but you're still in a mobile environment. You may have to be on the computer to do it. All right. Some add-ons that I use. I told you guys about Formule. We talked about Autocrat. We talked about Sites. If you are a coder, I dropped 1 second of audio. That's not good. I can't restart this one. We've got our Thesaurus. MindMeister. If you are one that does mind mapping or the balloon pieces of things with your students, you could use MindMeister inside of here. Your easy bibliography. If you're a coder, you're a scripter, you like to write code, you know how to do web pages, things along those lines, Code Pretty will take your data that you drop into a Google document and then it makes it look like a coding editor to where it cleans it up for you. And then, of course, the Avery Mail Merge there. Those are the ones that I use on a regular basis with my documents. And then there's some others that I write into it. So we've gone through, we've talked about them, and that's what I have for you guys with the add-ons. Are there any that you guys have used before in your classes? It's a quiet group. All right. Well, if there's no more questions, I appreciate you guys coming today.